Our boy didn't even use the Grandmaster's will, the 25-fold stellar technique, or the flame-breathing technique. From the stands, the leading Grandmaster of the Heilong Martial Arts School suddenly stood up. He was shocked to see their strongest disciple get his ass whopped so easily. While losing was not unfathomable, the fact that Wang Xin couldn't withstand even one punch from Lu Sheng raised questions about just how strong Lu Sheng really is. Lu Sheng glanced at the referee, who seemed to realize that he had yet to declare the winner. Raising his microphone, he announced Lu Sheng as the winner of the match. Internally, the referee thought he wanted to protect Lu Sheng, but it turned out that Lu Sheng didn't need his protection at all, having defeated his opponent with a single punch. The 7th Divine Martial University senior students were ecstatic and surprised, almost jumping on the spot. Everyone started chanting Lu Sheng's name. Someone even shouted out Lu Sheng's nickname, leading to the crowd chanting, Demon King. Lu Sheng found a quiet spot to sit down amidst the bustling discussions around him. The female martial artists were particularly attracted by him, casting adoring glances in his direction, but Lu Sheng couldn't help but think that the Demon King title was a bit too dramatic for his taste. Meanwhile, in the highest seats reserved for the organizers of the competition, several grandmasters from the Martial Arts Association were also observing the competition, while voicing their amazement. They were astounded that Lu Sheng's punch was purely physical strength, without even using his internal energy, leading many to believe that no one in this competition could match Lu Sheng. However, one of them shook his head, reminding the group that the twin stars were also considered prodigies. It had been 2 years, and it was uncertain how much they had grown. Jiang He, cutting through the Grandmaster's discussions, suggested they to focusing more on the ongoing matches, instead of speculating. The Grandmasters nodded respectfully, and fell silent. Jiang He, stroking his beard, mused about Lu Sheng's potential, pondering whether he could truly become a disciple of the martial saint. Next scene, we see the twin stars discussing Lu Sheng's recent match. Upon hearing that Lu Sheng had knocked out Wang Xin with a single punch, they were momentarily taken aback, but quickly laughed it off. They joked about Wang Xin acting carelessly, and probably didn't use his full strength, laughing and taking a swig from their water bottles, while saying that the stronger Lu Sheng was, the more satisfying it would be to defeat him later. What followed was one of them crushing their bottles in hand. Yeah, okay there, big boy, you can try. In another part of the venue, a girl from the Transcendent Martial Arts School cast a silent glance towards Lu Sheng, then quickly withdrew her gaze, her expression mingling with worry and quite tense. The shadow, it's spreading even wider, she murmured to herself, her voice barely a whisper amidst the clamor of the crowd. As the night fell, marking the end of the day's competitions, Lu Sheng returned to his hotel room, lying on the large bed with a trace of regret. The final match was scheduled for the next day, yet he hadn't even gotten to properly warm up. Despite this, he was looking forward to tomorrow, pondering over the window how it would feel like to defeat a great grandmaster. His train of thought was interrupted by a text message notification. It was from his younger sister, who had seen him on TV again today. She was excitedly messaging him, urging him to strive for another national championship. Smiling, Lu Sheng was about to casually reply when he remembered something and advised his sister not to let their parents watch the next day's match, suggesting it would be better for them. His sister quickly responded, full of questions, and insisting on Lu Sheng to explain what he meant. Lu Sheng candidly replied that he didn't want their parents to see him potentially taking a life on live television. This statement left his sister quiet for quite some time. Realizing how his words might have sounded, he followed up, claiming he was joking, but noting that the final battle would be intense, likely getting a bit bloody, and he didn't want to worry their parents. His sister, startled at first, admonished him for such a joke, but agreed to try and prevent their parents from watching the live broadcast. However, she couldn't promise they wouldn't catch a replay. Lu Sheng then realized his concerns might have been unnecessary, but came upon a different idea. While he couldn't stop people from watching, he pondered on preventing the live broadcast somehow. Meanwhile, messages from friends began to pour in, including a short message from Ming, simply saying, "Bro, well done," and a lengthy message from Amelia offering encouragement. Also, whether or not Lu Sheng could see her message didn't matter to her. Just knowing they were under the same starry sky and could share messages brought her contentment. Qin also sent a message, congratulating Lu Sheng and reminding him to visit the Back East military district when he had time, hinting that someone there missed him dearly. Under the deep night sky, lastly, Lu Sheng received a concise message from Snowy, simply urging him to keep going. For reasons unknown, her message triggered a sudden recollection of a dream realm, where the spouse section listed Snowy's name, causing his heart to skip a beat. A rare occurrence for our boy. Disconcerted by this reaction, he quickly turned off his phone, losing any immediate interest in entering the dream realm for training during the night. Not ready to sleep just yet, he decided to take a walk outside into the night. In the meanwhile, a girl in martial arts attire was breathing out mist into the cold air against the backdrop of a night sky. A thin layer of snow covered the martial arts platform on the mountain summit, with temperatures dipping below -20 degrees Celsius. Despite her martial arts training, the cold was biting due to her light clothing. She trained daily without fail, cherishing her scarce moments of rest to enjoy the outdoors. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps crunching softly on snow reached her ears. Turning around, she saw a handsome man standing dozens of meters away, quietly observing her. Instantly, she felt petrified, her body tensing up before she quickly darted away in another direction. Lu Sheng, watching her sprinting away, touched his face in confusion, wondering if he really appeared that intimidating. He mused humorously about the growing list of names in the spouse section of his profile in the dream realm. Yet in reality, that might not be the case. Hidden behind a rock, the girl spied on Lu Sheng, utterly incredulous. The sight of Lu Sheng enshrouded in a black mist that seemed to cover the stars and moon sent chills down her spine. Gulping nervously, she watched his back, pondering what kind of being Lu Sheng truly was. After enjoying the fresh air, Lu Sheng returned to the hotel. Finding a crowd gathered at the cafeteria entrance, he made his way to the ordering area, selecting a bit of everything on the menu. However, he noticed that, ever since the encounter outside, the girl from before had been following him at a distance of about 10 meters, never approaching closer, leaving him puzzled about her intentions. Meanwhile, a student from the Divine Martial University, carrying his tray, was blocked by a group of people, including one of the twin stars. The twin, with a smirk on his face, warned the young man about the dire consequences of encountering him in the competition. The young man didn't back down, however he did remember those encounters with them usually resulted in severe injuries. As they continued their menacing enjoyment, Lu Sheng, carrying his food, approached them, munching away. He asked them not to block the way, but he simply barged through the blocker upon being ignored. Turning to see it was Lu Sheng, the twin star made a throat-slitting gesture towards him. Just as he was about to threaten Lu Sheng, a sudden gust of wind and a surge of crisis overwhelmed him. Before he could finish his sentence, Lu Sheng had already grabbed him by the neck and lifted him off the ground effortlessly, holding him up like a baby chick, his voice calm but firm, questioning what the hell is he doing. The twin star was stunned, his pupils dilating as he heard the crunching sound of his neck under the pressure of Lu Sheng's grip. He tried to break free, but the immovable force of Lu Sheng's grasp was overwhelming. The fear and despair he felt were unparalleled. And just as he was about to lose consciousness, a voice commanded Lu Sheng to stop, and Lian Jibei from the Jidao Martial Arts School approached, coldly staring at Lu Sheng, and threatening to disqualify him if he didn't release the twin star. Despite Lu Sheng's confidence in his ability to get rid of Lian Jibei in a matter of seconds, he knew he couldn't act so brazenly in front of everyone. Taking a deep breath to calm himself and quell the rising killing intent, Lu Sheng reluctantly let go of the twin star. After the confrontation, the twin star gasped for breath, coughing while Lu Sheng nonchalantly patted his shoulder, which made him even more anxious. After being told that his neck is pretty, accompanied by a toothy grin, followed by a chilling suggestion to go home to cry in mommy's lap, left the twin frozen in fear. It wasn't until Lian Jibei called him several times to snap him out of his daze. As Lian Jibei turned to leave with a cold remark, the twin hurried after him, attempting to explain himself. The onlookers at the cafeteria entrance were left in shock, their discussions exploding into a frenzy seconds later. They couldn't believe how effortlessly Lu Sheng had neutralized one of the twin stars, treating him as if he was as light as a chick. Settling down at a table, Lu Sheng ate while contemplating the consequences of acting on his impulses. Had he killed Lian Jibi, he could have become a wanted criminal, with potential repercussions for his family and friends from Lian Jibei's backing forces. He realized the importance of restraint, especially with the final match approaching. Back at Jidao Martial Arts School, Lian Jibei stopped to address the twin star. He was desperately explaining that he hadn't anticipated Lu Sheng's sudden attack, claiming it was a sneak attack that caught him off guard. Hearing this, the other twin mockingly called him useless, which led to a heated argument. Lian Jibei intervened, his icy glare making it clear that the disgrace brought upon Jidao by this incident needed to be rectified. The admonished twin promised such an event would not repeat, while Lian Jibei left them with a huff. Alone, filled with suppressed rage and frustration, he vowed to make Lu Sheng pay. As a new day dawns, the competition is about to begin, with the higher-ups from the 7th Divine Martial University, including Zhao, in attendance. They solemnly remind Lu Sheng of the formidable strength possessed by the twin star from Jidao Martial Arts School, urging him not to underestimate them. Lu Sheng nods in acknowledgement, his confidence and readiness evident to the university's leaders, who already envision him as the winner. Yet Zhao seems to hold back additional thoughts. He lets out a sigh and ponders how Lu Sheng plans to explain himself to the martial saint after the tournament. The drawing for the 8th round begins, and as soon as the matchups are announced, a wave of murmurs ripples through the crowd. Lu Sheng is set to face one of the twin stars, the exact same person whom he had a confrontation with before. The audience speculates wildly, with some thinking the pairing was orchestrated by the organizers, while others doubt the twin star's chances given his previous encounter with Lu Sheng. Yet, there are voices in the crowd suggesting that Lu Sheng's previous victory was a result of a sneak attack, adding to the anticipation and debate. The man, seething with anger and barely containing his urge to confront Lu Sheng then and there, radiates an intense aura. Lu Sheng, amused, thought it would be fun to mimic his earlier throat-slitting gesture in a slow, deliberate motion, which only fueled the man's anger. As they descend from the stage after the draw, the first match announced is between Bai from the Divine Martial University and the other twin star. The Grandmaster leading the team advises Bai to fight without concern for the outcome, just to give his all. Bai nods, although still visibly nervous, but seems somewhat reassured by seeing Lu Sheng not far from him. After fighting Lu Sheng, he knew that no one would be more terrifying than him. Lu Sheng casually walks by and gives him a piece of simple advice to just do your best. Bai initially takes it as a sign of support, only to be taken aback by Lu Sheng's following remark about if he dies, don't worry, he will avenge him.